Welcome to another travel product review. Today we're going to review the historical city tour on eco-friendly cart in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now the thing about our reviews is they're always favorable. What I like to do is put myself in the shoes of a visitor who comes across this listing on Get Your Guide, provide feedback on what they might be thinking when they come across the pictures, the text, and the reviews. And we also put a 10-minute timer to kind of keep these videos short. So let's start that timer now. Now let's get started. Now what I do when I come across any listing on Get Your Guide, I simply just look at the title. It says Historical City Tour on Eco-Friendly Cart. Now some would say Historical City Tour, Historic City Tour. There could be some different phrases on that, but it pretty much answers it. And then I quickly move to the images to see how the images supports the title. And obviously this is in Charlotte, North Carolina. So now I'm going to look at these pictures right here, and it's nice because now the city tour is there. See the cart that they have. You see the tour guide. See a cropped bad photo of somebody's head chopped off. See, again, the pictures and the cropping are a little tough. This shot looks a little interesting. That's good. Somebody doing a selfie. Many pictures, and quickly look through the remaining photos to see what they are. Now, the thing about these photos is that I see a couple groups, but the cropping seems a little tough. And I think if you could crop the pictures better or have a couple extra pictures, that would be good. It doesn't show you where you pick it up from. And some of the historical spots, you don't really know where you're at. I only saw one location here. I saw BB&T ballpark. That's good. And then a lot of them are too close, in my opinion. And that's what I feel when I look at these pictures. Now, I did like the fact that there wasn't a lot of them. 15 is like the max I think that any listing should have. The only thing I like to see a little bit more is in the photos. I'd like to see where you pick it up from and more of those historical places that you visit. Now the next thing I do is I look at the activity provider. It says Queen City Rides. And the reason why I look at the activity provider is because that's going to tell you who's putting on the tour. Sometimes it might be a guide within a guide or a guide within a tour. So this is good. The activity provider is putting this on as well. And it has 149 reviews. Now, what I already noticed is it's a 4.8 stars, very good, but the 149 reviews is a little low compared to some other products there. Maybe it's a little bit newer, but we'll come across that later. And now I simply just kind of come down here and I kind of look to see a couple about this activity. The duration is 1.5 hours, and there's a live tour guide who speaks English. Now, the one thing I tell everybody about this is that what you want to do is go ahead and fill in this section, because what happens is if there's a couple different packages, it's going to be there, and you have to check the availability to kind of see it. So we're just going to put children and infants. We'll see those three different price points and demographics: adults, children, infants. Now we're going to select the date. Here's where you can see if there's discounted between Monday through Friday or the weekend. You'll see a little percentage sign if it's discounted. We'll pick the 18th. Now we'll check availability, and only 4 spots left, and it tells you the times. What I like to see on a lot of these listings here is I like to see in some of the details where you put the times. That's the only thing I think a lot of these listings do, is they don't put the times in the details or the full description. You can only see the times it's offered in the check availability. So 10, 12, 2, 4, 6. It's 1.5 hours as well. And so it gives you an idea that infants are free. I think when it says only 4 left, 1, 2, 5, it should say somewhere, in my opinion, how many is the max passengers you can have on this. And that will tell you a lot about this activity. And so that gives you an idea how much it is. Now we're going to look at the highlights. And the reason why the highlights are important is this is what the company's telling you is important. So let's take a look. Embark on an exciting electric cart tour through uptown Charlotte's 4 wards to the city's most iconic museums, parks, churches, and sports stadiums. We only saw one sports stadium, which is BB&T, and then learn about Charlotte's past, present, and future. And we'll just kind of check down. See, this is the section I'd like to see right here, where we talk about, what time is there, because if somebody doesn't click on it, you wouldn't know which times are there. So it says, we're not going to read all this, kind of repeating itself, but you get to see Carolina Panther Stadium, Queen City. So then we look at what it includes is city tour guide, transportation. What's not included is gratuities. I'd like to see right here, maybe you put parking is not included just because it's downtown. That's something that I've seen some other people maybe mention they'd like to see. And then we're going to kind of scroll down here, passport or ID card. I'm not sure why that's included. And then if it rains, a covered vehicle will be used, or the activity provider will reschedule the tour. Each cart fits 7 passengers. And that's where they answered my question, because as somebody who's coming to the listing, I want to know how many people it can hold. Now we get into the fun part. And what I want to say about when we get to the reviews is I don't represent this company, nor do I represent GetYourGuide. Simply providing feedback of what I think when I read some other reviews on the site. So we're going to go ahead and handle that right now. So when I come down here, I'm just going to glance out here. And the reason why I include this is because companies like GetYourGuide and Viator always put this is public information, and I just want to respond. Remember, this had 4.8 stars, so they don't have any real negative reviews. Now we'll go to the 3 stars or less. Brian was a friendly guy. He knows what he's doing. Did have fun. Was driven with a bus and not in the electric cart. No information about it. They did mention that there would be a different vehicle if it was going to rain. So I don't know if this is an old listing or an old review, but this was 2022, and we saw in the description above that if there was bad weather, you'd be switched into a different vehicle. There are no more fried cucumbers. Overall, the information was not updated by the provider. The driver was extremely friendly, courteous, and competent. Overall, too expensive for what was actually offered in the end. Okay, and that's going to do it when it comes to these listings here, these reviews. And what I want to mention is there's no mention of food. The only time I said food or came across it was in the reviews. I don't know if this includes food, but if we just look back on what it includes, it does not mention food. So that's one thing that I wanted to kind of point out. Sometimes those reviews, and maybe it's a 3-star review, but it still hurts their rating. Those 3-star reviews still hurts the overall rating, and there was no mention of on this tool. But that's going to do it for our review of this listing. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. I'll put a link in the video's description if you're purchasing this. But this is a pretty solid listing, and I think there's no real changes I'd like to see made. All right, thanks for watching. If you visit Charlotte, definitely want to take this eco-friendly cart historic city tour.